Hi everyone, welcome once again to Code Zone KE, the only channel where we get to code. So we've talked quite a number of things from the previous class, from the layouts that are there, from JFrame to drag and dropping text field to a button. In case you're not where we are, again, go back to the previous video so that we can all be at par when it comes to where I am. So today we are going to talk about events and listening. So that the idea here is when you click a button, when you get the length and the width and you click the button, it is supposed to respond and give you an output, which is the area of a rectangle. So there are two things you're going to discuss today. The first one is what we call an event. The simple definition of an event is defined as a signal to the program that something has happened. So you've entered your length and width, all right? What you want to do is when you click a button, the action of clicking a button is what we call event. An event normally are generated or are triggered by two things. We have the external user actions. That is, for example, when you hover through a table and you find it's giving you results. When you enter, you press, when you're doing data entry and you key in your data and press enter, what you're doing, you're triggering an event. All right, that is an external user action. But there is also an internal program activities that trigger events. When we have a timer, say for example, normally all of us have a phone, right? So when you put a timer and say you want an alarm to start ringing at 7 a.m. in the morning, that is an event that is triggered by a timer at a specific time. Once that time is reached, then an alarm is supposed to be, an alarm or some sounds are supposed to be triggered for you for an alarm is triggered, right? So there are two things that can trigger an event. Can be triggered by an external user action. Allow me to just type in here for you to see. So at the source, they are triggered by two things. At the comment, we have the external user and we have the internal. Internal normally is just the timer. For external is when you click a button. So we've entered our length here, we've entered our width here. We want to click this button that we've called compute area and automatically picks the length and width and displays the area of a rectangle. That action of clicking is what we call an event. After an event, there is an object that listens, or rather the object that is interested with that particular event of clicking a button, and that is what we call a listener. So an event has to have a listener for it to be able to act. Okay, so every time you see an event, when you want to click a button, when you want to hover over the text field and it displays the value that you want on the screen, what you're doing, the hovering of the mouse is the event. Then there is a listener that is activated by that particular event. So the beauty about NetBeans is you don't need to cram all those functionalities of event. Now, for example, once I click this button, it's supposed to get the length, get the width, and compute the area. So how do I place the event for the button? So move to where the button is and simply double click. Once you double click, automatically it generates for you the event and the listener for that particular event. Okay, so we have the event here is action event, all right, and the listener already has been generated for you. So once you go to your design, double click, it generates for you a method that has the event and the listener for that particular. So you don't need to know what the particular code that is supposed to, but it's good. You can actually check and do the hard coding part. But the beauty of NetBeans, again, you simply double click on your event. It generates for you the code that has the event and the listener for you. All right. So now here, this is where you place your code. Simple now. I want to get the text from the length. Remember, we had our variables. We changed the variable name from J text field 1 to text length and text width. Okay, so I'm going to store that and say string length. Remember, string is capital letter. Java is really case sensitive, is equals to text length. Okay, dot get text. It's as simple as that. Okay, again, I'm going to say string width is equals to text width dot get text. Simple as that. You've already gotten whatever has been typed by at text length and text width. So you remember parsing. We talked about parsing. Again, if this is unfamiliar, you need to go back to the previous videos and get to learn about what we said when you want to change from string into a double. So I'm going to have double and say length value is equals to double capital D double dot pulse double. Okay, and put in the length. We're changing whatever we receive as a string here into a double so that we can be able to do numerical operations on them. Again, I'm going to declare. I'm going to just copy paste this one here and have a width value here, and rather than length, I'm changing the width. It's as simple as that. From there, declare double area is simple equals to length times width. Okay, simple as that. Oh, sorry, not length, but we are having a width value. It's having the width value. Sorry for this. So width value times length value. So these are the doubles. Length value and the width value. And you're going to just display it in our J option pane. Dot show message. This time is not input. Show message dialog. And we simply have null and say, remember concatenation. Again, if you don't understand concatenation, kindly go back to the previous video so that it is well explained. So we're going to concatenate and say the width, and say width maybe equals, we concatenate it to width, the double width, width value, or you can even do width. Either of them can work. Then say concatenate it and say length. Have it a space and say length equals, concatenate it again with length and say area, and say then area is equals to, concatenate it with the area that we have computed. It's as simple as that. So we've done our event, we have done our event listening. Those ones are automatically generated with NetBeans. Again, you just need to understand what events and listeners are. You can actually do a little bit of more research, so that you get to understand just what event and listeners are. But the beauty of NetBeans, again, you simply double click on it, it automatically generates for you the event and also the listener for the button, and simply you put your text, you put what you want displayed once you click that button. So if I run this file, so remember, initially in our previous video, you're clicking and nothing happened, okay? So here you enter the length 23 and you have the width 24. When you compute your area and you have voila, your width is 24, length is 23, the area is 552, okay? So you can have different points here, dot point, 8. When you compute area, again, it gives you the length times width is equals to 6. Why I don't know why it is adding so many 9999 here. I hope that is the multiplication between. So 2 times 2, or I can have 3. When you compute area, 3 times 2 is equals to 6.0. It is as simple as that. So anytime you compute, anytime you click a button, an event, whatever you put inside the method that is calling the event and the listener is what is displayed. So this is very simple. Now from here, I said one, the beauty about programming is the more you keep on practicing, the more it becomes easier. So you can actually we can actually decide to do the area. We can have compute area. I can add the area. I can add, today we can do area of a rectangle here and add enter. I can simply say enter radius at this point. Again, remember to play around with your properties. You can change anything. Then I have you drag and drop my text field here. And drag and drop here. It's as simple as that. And then I can say now compute on my button here. I can have it as compute area, compute circle. Remember space, but backspace, then say compute circle. Okay, it's as simple as that. You can do a lot. Okay, we change these variables. We change the variable for this one and say the code at the properties rather than jtext field one. I can have it as text radius. Text radius. Okay, then at the compute circle, I can have it as button. I can have it as button, as area circle. Area circle. Simple as that. Again, simply double click on area circle, okay, and say string, and say, for example, radius is equals to text radius dot get text. Get text. Simple. Then we again parse it again to double and say double input, or we can have radius value. Radius value is equals to double dot parse double, and then you pass in the radius. Then simple and say double area. Say double area. Area is equals to 3.14 times radius value times radius value. Okay, simply I'll copy paste this one and have it here and say what is the area? There's no length, so there's no problem. We can just delete this one and say we can have it as the error is because it cannot find the length and width. Length and width is only it's private to this particular methods. We're going to be tackling methods in our next video, so this one will become a little bit easier. So you say the radius, you can say the radius is, we concatenate it again with the radius and say the concatenation and say area equals, and simply concatenate it with area. Okay, it's as simple as that. So if we save this one and run, if I run this file again, you realize now we have a new entry here. So if I say 7 and compute circle, gives you the area. When the radius is 7, the circle is equals. So if I have 10 again, if you compute circle, it's giving you that. If you have 15.16.9 and compute your circle, automatically it computes for you the area. So keep practicing the drag and drop. Still, we haven't gotten to a point where now what happens, the next session you're going to do the Boolean data types. If this one, if maybe text length is null, you're not supposed to do anything. What if you enter character or a string, yet what we want to enter is a width. You have to put it in a Boolean kind of a data type. So we're going to do that in our next session. Please make sure you practice as much as you can. That is how you understand programming. Drag and drop and play around with all those events. Put your list, put all these controls that you have, drag and drop them, shape them, be able to to have good UIs, and see what you can build by the end of the day. Again, like and subscribe. Thank you.